Welcome back to Six Pennies Podcast. I cannot get enough of that song. I hope you guys don't mind. We might just play that out for the next 30 minutes or however long this podcast takes. Maybe 25.
Yeah, I'm just going to put it on repeat in the background.
Yeah, it is so good.
It's going to annoy so many people if you do that. Come on.
No, I think it's going to be like, one of those really good like TV jingles. Like the really crappy ones, you know what I mean? That just get stuck in your head and
like
you just can't help it.
Step by step?
Step by step for you, maybe. But yeah, welcome back to the podcast. We have all six pennies, as you can tell or hear. And we're going to do another podcast change today since it's Thursday, and that's what Thursdays is for now. So first question comes from our friend Troy Wong. He asks, which Major League Baseball players are most likely to trade wood for wheat or sheep for ore? I just thought this was a really funny question, just because all three of us are pretty obsessed, pretty active right now on online Settlers of Catan. So, Timmy, since you love baseball, do you have any thoughts about this?
Well, first of all, we talked about this on a pocket change in March or something. We were talking about best games, and you guys introduced me to the online Settlers.
Oh yeah, that was your introduction. Right?
Yeah, and so I've been playing, I guess, for about 2 months now, and probably gotten a good 300-400 games in 2 months.
I think that's all you do now. Like outside of.
It's about how many games that Albie has played in the last 2 weeks.
As long as you don't tell people how many games I've played, then we're good. We're good.
So I took this question and didn't really think it was that funny or anything. First of all, I can't do MLB, but I can give you some NBA players. But
okay.
More importantly, I was actually just thinking like strategy wise, who would be trading wood for wheat or sheep for ore? And I guess like I would always trade wood for wheat in this game, right? And sheep for ore. Wouldn't you guys?
I mean, it depends if it's early game or late game. Wood is very important in the early game.
I don't know. You taught me to just stop caring about that and just go all development cards.
You have been focusing on wheat, sheep, and ore like crazy.
Well, wheat is the most important card, right? Because you need it for towns, cities, and for development cards.
It is true.
Yeah, you're pretty screwed if you have to trade for wheat constantly. Like if you don't have a good wheat block, then you're kind of screwed.
So that being said, if I were thinking of an NBA player who plays this game, I would definitely be Rajon Rondo, hands down. He's probably one of the guys who destroys us when we're playing this online. He's probably there right now.
You think he's on that
probably? Yeah, I bet he's very good at it too, just like he is with Connect 4.
Wait, why Rajon Rondo?
Just because he's supposedly very smart and he loves playing Connect 4 and beating people, so I assume that he would like something like this too. I feel like maybe Kobe Bryant would be good at it, and I think LeBron would be killer as well.
I think anyone would trade with Kobe.
Kobe's probably putting out like terrible offers. Like he's offering that one wood and trying to get like 3 cards for it for no reason.
It feels so good though when someone does give you 3 cards for 1. It's like the best feeling ever.
Yeah, Kobe is definitely the type when he gets the trade offer, like he's clicking the offer more button, like constantly. Offer more.
He's also the one who starts with a 1 for 1, and then everybody says no. He makes it a 2 for 1. Everyone says no. He just keeps going up and up, assuming that he's going to get it for less than what he should be paying.
Notice I would never trade with Daryl Morey. Like no matter how good it looks. Like Daryl Morey would be the type to trade you like 3 for 1 and then use the Monopoly card to get it all back.
That's the best.
Oh man,
that's the best feeling.
I wonder if Vlade plays this game. I'd love to play against Vlade.
Albert, what do you think? Do you have any MLB players in mind?
This is really hard. So trading wood for wheat. Basically all the non-power hitters. So I'm thinking like speedsters, because wood to me is like bringing the lumber. You need to hit home runs. So if you can't hit a home run,
the metaphors.
You want to run like the wind or be really light, which is wheat. So like Ricky Henderson back in the day would have done a wood for wheat trade for sure.
I was thinking that you're going in the direction of if they're speedsters, they're trying to like get things moving faster, so they want to get those cities quicker. So that's why they're trading for the wheat.
I don't know, but I love in Astrobrain just asking people, please, can we play faster?
Oh man, you're the worst at that. Sometimes I watch your games, you're always telling people to play faster, and why are you robbing me? Like you're the worst. I would really hate playing against you. It'd be so annoying.
The most annoying thing I do is when people like offer me something, and instead of offering more, I click offer other. So then let's say that they give me like a wheat. Originally they offer a wheat, and I'm like, no, offer other. Then they offer me a wood, and then I would say the only way I would do that is if you give me both the wheat and the wood.
Yeah, you're the worst.
If Brain had like a warning system, like AOL back in the day, man, Albert, you'd never be able to play.
And I'm such a hypocrite too, because like when people call me out, I'm like, man, I wish I can mute the chat feature.
I gotta say, we might need a disclaimer before posting this this podcast, because people have never played Settlers before. They have no idea what we've been talking about for the past 10 minutes.
I think even some people who have played Settlers before probably don't know what we're talking about.
We should probably move on to the next subject.
All right.
Sorry, well, Troy. One thing I wanted to bring up was for us, Troy, but it's not.
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to bring up with this question was that how hard it is to even think of Major League Baseball players in general. Right.
True.
I think ESPN had something the other day, maybe about 2 weeks ago. They had this list called ESPN World Fame 100, and it just listed out the top 100 most famous athletes in the world. And baseball players, first of all, they only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They had 8 of them on the list, which isn't bad, I guess. But the top one is number 71. So you think of, and baseball is,
who is it? Mike Trout?
Mike Trout is number 2. He's number 73.
Oh, man. I bet I will never guess the number 1.
Is that Bryce Harper?
It is Bryce Harper.
Bryce. What's crazy?
So Bryce Harper is 71.
Yeah, before you continue, Mark, what's crazy is I think the most famous baseball player is retired, but he's still like the face of MLB.
Derek Jeter?
Yeah, and that's Derek Jeter.
Jeter, exactly. So they have, so on the list, I'll just list it out right here. It's Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, David Ortiz, Robinson Cano, Miguel Cabrera, Masahiro Tanaka, Albert Pujols,
Robinson Cano?
And
Pujols
Matt
is still
Kemp.
playing?
Pujols has like 6 or 7 more years left on his contract, yes.
Is Matt Kemp still on the Dodgers?
No, he is on...
No, that's the only reason why I know his name.
Yeah, so he's number 100, so you got that one. But why do you think it is? Why are baseball players so low on this list? And why is
because baseball is boring.
So
okay,
that's the answer.
Ask Albert, someone who doesn't.
Yeah, so a lot of, I mean, I agree with Timmy. The general public will say that the game is boring, but what's more important on top of that is the players, in my opinion, are really boring. There's no personality. There's no character when they're playing out there on the baseball diamond. And so for me, that's why baseball doesn't really have any superstars. Like if Mike Trout, if there was a player of Mike Trout's caliber in any other sport, he would be the face of that sport and everyone would know about him. But because he's in baseball and because, I mean, people outside of the West Coast probably haven't even seen him play, to be honest. But people don't realize he is like a once-in-a-generation type athletic, elite athlete. And so it's just sad. I mean, I feel sorry for baseball. I don't think there's anything they can do that can really, really change that because I think the NBA and the NFL has really cornered that market. But I mean, it is what it is, right? Baseball players.
And it's just old school versus new school too, right? Like old school, all the old talking heads talking baseball. They hate it when people are like Bryce Harper, where they say he shows up the game, doesn't respect the game. He just does all this stuff that doesn't go along with the tradition of the game,
Yeah.
But you like Bryce Harper, right?
I love Bryce Harper just because he is someone that is not following the traditional mindset of what baseball should be played. I
Yeah.
think that's why like Tiger Woods was such a big hit in the late '90s and early 2000s. Not only
Yeah.
the color of his skin, but also just his demeanor and his reactions on the golf course. Like it was something that people were not used to. It's kind of like Adam Sandler in that um, the golf movie.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah,
Happy Gilmore. Yeah.
it's just like Adam Sandler and Happy Gilmore, and so I think that movie came out in the mid '90s, and then literally 5 years later, a carbon copy of someone like that, Tiger Woods, comes out, and he took the sport by storm, and he crossover from the sport to popular culture.
I can't believe you just compared your hero Tiger Woods to Happy Gilmore. That's really awesome.
Because they're both my heroes.
But yeah, you're right. Maybe that's what the game needs. I don't like Bryce Harper personally, but I do think he's necessary for the game to get to the next level. I think kids need to show more emotion on the baseball field and make it less boring for the general public, like Timmy. So wait, Timmy, have you seen Mike Trout play?
No, I don't know when's the last time I watched a baseball game.
But he's like right there. He's in Anaheim. Where is Anaheim? That's pretty
He's
cool.
here? I didn't even know that.
Okay.
I've seen him on some. I've seen him on like little promotions at Subway.
Yes. So he's the new Jared for you. He's not necessarily a baseball player. He's just the new face of Subway.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess that kind of sums it all up. If Timmy, living in LA, hasn't even seen Mike Trout or doesn't know he plays for the Angels, then baseball definitely needs the kind of reality check. But thanks again for the question, Troy. Let's move on to the second question. This one's pretty interesting. Might hit a couple nerves. It's from Maxwell Lee, and he asks about NBA conspiracy theories. He gives a couple examples, like 2006 Finals, 2002 West Conference Finals between Lakers and Kings.
For sure.
Various NBA draft lotteries with the frozen envelope theory for the Knicks, LeBron and Derrick Rose going to their hometown teams with the number one picks, and Cleveland getting just a ton of number one picks in the past decade or decade and a half. So, Albert, let's start with you in 2006.
Oh, I mean, those finals were just terribly officiated and ref. I don't know if it was fixed. I don't know if it's like a conspiracy theory. I just think it was bad officiating. And I mean, obviously, I'm biased. I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan. For those who don't know, that was when Dallas played Miami, and Dwayne Wade, a very young, athletic Dwayne Wade, became Michael Jordan Jr. And he was living at the free throw line. He was averaging like 20 to 22 free throws a game. All these phantom foul calls on Dallas, Devin Harris and Josh Howard, and those kind of guys. But like, I just think we lost it. I mean, Dirk had the free throws in Game 3 to go up 3-0. He missed them, and Miami came back. And before we knew it, it was already 4-2 in Dallas, and we lost the series. But yes, there were bad calls, and yes, there were phantom calls. But in terms of like the games being fixed, or like there was a conspiracy against Dallas because of what Stern felt for Mark Cuban, I don't think that was really justified. But when you talk about the 0-2 Sacramento Los Angeles series, that for sure I believe was 100% fixed.
Was that just so they can get the LA team into the finals?
It was
or
like
did they not like the Maloofs, or what?
Why? It was a combination of all of that, but also Tim Donaghy, right? They all.
Oh yeah, was Donaghy there?
Yeah, they all had money on the games, and they were all controlling how the games were going to be ended and how many points were being scored.
Okay. If it's the Donaghy stuff, then yeah, obviously that's fixed. But I don't think that's as much conspiracy theory, right? That's more just is. Okay.
I mean, I remember watching that series. I think it was Game 6 was the really like obvious one that comes to mind. But I still remember Game 7. Like Sacramento still had a chance. They probably still should have won. They just, unless they were in on the take two. I just remember they couldn't hit a single free throw.
Yeah, they were terrible.
And then Peja came in and airballed a 3. I remember that.
But again, I mean, I think that's, some refs that were doing it. Yes, conspiracy there. I was thinking more the bigger NBA conspiracy ones. So like you guys mentioned the lotteries, or Mock, you mentioned them.
Yeah.
Well, Maxwell listed them, and I think those definitely can be conspiracy theories.
Good point.
From the Knicks to the other ones they mentioned. You guys talked about with the Cavs. I mean, LeBron left, and then the Cavs get 2 number 1 picks. They get Kyrie, they get Anthony Bennett, unfortunately, and then they get Andrew Wiggins, who they trade to get LeBron back. It's pretty amazing.
They got
the one
3.
that
You're right.
Yeah, but the one that wasn't mentioned was the CP3 trade, where first of all they vetoed a trade to LA, which is completely ridiculous because the team was owning the Hornets at the time. And then once they finally do have to trade CP3 away, then they immediately get the number 1 pick to get Anthony Davis.
I think I know how Albert feels about David Stern era. How do you feel about his era, Timmy?
I mean, obviously, pretty much everything that we just listed happened under Stern, right? So it's pretty clear he was behind some of the stuff, or he was involved in it, and definitely doesn't look good for his legacy, which you guys love talking about.
Yeah, honestly, one of the big things when we're talking about NBA conspiracy theories and things of that nature, the Tim Donaghy thing, like, how did that not get? I mean, obviously it got some attention back when it happened, but how was it all on Tim Donaghy himself? Like, they were able to kind of scapegoat him.
Yeah,
all the blame was on him.
He was the fall guy, and the other guys that were, I guess, guilty, the other refs or the other NBA officials, the ones that were guilty, they had a deal. They set up a deal with the Supreme Court. And, yeah, they just basically used Tom Donaghy as the face and the fall guy of that whole episode. But back to David Stern, like, I know, Mock, for you, when it comes to like Kobe Bryant during those first 3 championships, you believe that because Shaq was so dominant, any average to above average shooting guard could have fit in with that team and won those championships. It didn't have to be Kobe, and that kind of undermines his accomplishments. And so I wanted to equate that to David Stern and his accomplishments because he's usually regarded as the commissioner that brought the NBA or the game of basketball to the global world, right? From the 80s, Magic and Michael and Bird, to the 92 Dream Team, to what it is today. People are saying that's David Stern. So my question to you guys is, do you think it's because of what Stern did, or because it was just an engine that was eventually going to get this big anyways internationally?
I would say the latter, but I could be very biased. I'm not a big Stern fan. I actually don't like Stern at all.
I mean, I think it's a little of both. The star power you mentioned just got humongous. It's really the Magic, Bird, and then Michael thing. Like, it was just so much star power that obviously was going to be spread out a lot more. But at the same time, like, Stern did do a lot of great things in pushing the global aspect of the game, and having teams go overseas to play in the summer or to do preseason games in Mexico, and to expand into Canada. Like, you have to give him some credit for that. I mean, maybe somebody similar could have done it as well, but there's nobody else who did it, so you have to give him at least a little credit.
Yeah, and I guess he did change the league policy to allow NBA players to play in the 92 Olympics, right? Because before that, it was just all amateur players.
Yeah, that was the Dream Team. That's true.
Yeah, I don't know if that was him or not, but that was the first year that they came back to be have pros in it. And then in terms of like social media, I mean, that's pretty much. I mean, it's not after he left. It was social media started getting big in mid 2000s, and he was in the thick of that. And the NBA has been one of the leaders in promoting social media, having teams have accounts, letting players communicate with fans, streaming their stuff, having Vines. Like, rest in peace, Vine.
Out of the 4 major sports in America, the NBA was not one of the leaders. It was like the leader in terms of social media and getting it out to the digital
still
world.
is.
Yeah. So props to the NBA for that, but I don't know if that's really on Stern, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. So is Stern like, is he average or is he like, what is? I think it's just compared to the other three major sports. You know, like the Bud Seligs, the couple NFL commissioners that
Tagliabue, Goodell.
Yeah, both of them. Are they just not doing their jobs right, or is it? I don't know. Like I don't know how to properly rate him compared to other sports.
Yeah, I will say, like, in Stern's defense, he's probably the most open-minded, or it seems like he's the most open-minded when it comes in comparison to the other guys you mentioned. I think because like, C League was way too traditional. It took him like 30 years before he did, replays or reviews, even though we had cameras for like 100 years. And then like Tagliabue and Goodell, I think they're just way too harsh, and so it became more of the shield and not about the players. And I think a lot of people are turned off by that. Whereas like the Stern era in the NBA, like you're right, Timmy, like it was all about the superstar power, and Stern was amazing at really advertising and promoting that. But if you didn't have a Magic Johnson or a Michael Jordan, like Stern wouldn't be where he was, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing when you're giving credit to any, I don't know, like a general manager of a team or like basically the leader who is overseeing everything, the owner, like Mark Cuban or something. I mean, he'll get a lot of credit, or whoever it is will get a lot of credit, even though they're not the ones who are directly doing everything, right? At the end of the day, it's going to be about like what is accomplished under that person's reign. And so I think the further away we get from Stern actually being there, and things like the Donaghy scandal or the Artest melee or things bad that have happened, we'll start to see and appreciate more of like what actually happened in the bigger picture for the NBA, and he'll probably have a better reputation and legacy moving forward.
I'm kind of impressed that the Tim Donaghy thing happened under his reign, under his nose, and it doesn't get talked about at all anymore. The whole thing got swept on the rug pretty much, and by all accounts, David Stern is still, held in very high regard as a commissioner.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's a good point. So the NBA is the leader in terms of like introducing the league to the information age, to the internet, to the digital world. But they are also the leaders in like burning tape and just like getting rid of all the evidence. Because you're right, like the Donaghy thing, the Malice in the Palace, anything that Michael Jordan did bad, anything that Kobe Bryant did bad, like all that stuff is never really talked about, even though it happened, you know. And so
that's very true.
Yeah, the NBA is just really good at just almost kind of like controlling the narrative, and so. Maybe it's just the NBA PR team that's amazing.
All right. Well, we had a third question, but we'll save that for another day. Thanks again for the question, Maxwell, and for our first question, Troy. Let's wrap this one up. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Please give us a like on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube.